Welcome back, fellow armchair generals. This is Gamer 1745 here with, yes, with my continuing playthrough of Imperator Rome 2.0. Right, we're going to continue this, but before we do, you've heard it all before, but hey, if you haven't already, please subscribe. Hit the, no, smash that like button. And post a comment. Tell me how sick you are of hearing YouTubers say those words. But if you don't say them, it's quite true, fewer people, you know, subscribe, like, that kind of thing. Okay, we're going with the heavy hammer here. You're on this side when this falls. Well, this may not hold out very long, I know that. We do have various wanderings coming around. I've been sort of wishing we'd just go home, but whatever. You don't need to hang out. It's going to be attacked. Okay, what we're going to do here is hire these guys. I'll just go on up to here. No. Come to here. Well, you come to here. That'll be the fastest way then. Granaries raided. Yeah, okay. We'll get more loyalty out of paying money. Yeah, I know there's very little organization there. Or morale, or however you want to say that. Okay. Let's check. Yes, we're at +2, so we're going to accept this offer and decline the other two. Straight into the port. We also have barbarians to watch out for, do we? They're gonna go attack the fortress too. Salt. Import more salt. Okay. Well. What are we going to fight here? Oh, fleet. Okay, well. Somehow we lost and gained, I don't know. Come over here so we don't lose our war goal. Ambition. This is why naval power is so brilliant. You just go around them. The siege is lost. We're losing too many men, I guess. You come back over here. Yeah, this is not going so well. To some Armenia, I guess they're having their difficulties or something, I don't know. Okay, yes, we know about that. Wine here. We want wine here. Wine. That's where we just lost it. Capture the enemy admiral. No, stop. I'll go faster than the rest of the army. Okay, we're gonna have to take drastic measures, I think, here. This may not effing work out. We're not legion levies. We're raising these guys. They're gonna come here and kick butt. Thought I had you selected. Come here and get rid of that. pushing on them. Probably didn't need to. This is probably an overreaction, but I was just getting a little panicky? Probably not panicky, but a little overly concerned about things. What are we doing for pops? Oh, we're almost there. Okay, well let's, since I had a little bit of slave movement around, hopefully for the better, though not entirely. Cyprus is going to lose its. Memphis is going to lose its thing, but Central Delta increased by 1. No, you cannot march across my territory. Yeah, you're plundering us a bit, but fortunately it's at a province that, yeah, we want the stability increase. That isn't overly, I'm not overly concerned. They're your own boats. Okay, yeah, Carthage can have that. Would, you kick their butts just to do it. Really? You couldn't get off the boat fast enough? How about Judea? Client state. Dies from South Phoenicia. No, we don't want to help the revolt. Don't think. Do we want to help the revolt? Yeah, we want to help the revolt. Keep them getting messed up with. Okay, everybody get back on board boats. We want to take that province and then we win the war. Fully, completely, and totally. Just mostly like we did. Legion sure got hurt. All of that. Oh, where's this? Oh. South Phoenicia. Sure, you can have South Phoenician glass. Thought I had you moving. Don't know whether it's faster to land and then walk there, or just land in, or sail into the port, or march there. But hopefully that really shuts that down fast. Fast. So I want this war over with. We've been plundering a lot of money in this war so far. Let's take a look around here. Okay, is a metropolis. Do we have... We're at 81, so what we're going to do is we're going to click here. Now we're going to pay the 100 political power. Good, we have enough. And 400 gold, that's good. And turn this from a city into a metropolis. So you're a little late to the party there, you choose. Yeah, you could use a market. Just help with the overall. Okay, so I think we'll get our extra slots when we become a metropolis. There's like 2 extra slots. We get that and don't build anything, we'll be able to do that. We want to have a bunch of gold on hand, and then we'll probably do this first, and then city of bureaucracy, and then at some point here get enough stability to do preferably the Temple of the Muses. I'm definitely going to do that. One more round the clock thing. And we got it because we have a fairly large army sitting outside of your fortress. Crumbling it. Civil War ends. Nope, that didn't do it for us. Yeah. Now that they're big, we can take them down all at once. At least that's sort of the hope. I know it gives us a lot of aggressive expansion and whatnot, but still. There we go. Okay. Just like I've said before, enough times that I've clicked the wrong thing and ending it. And once in a while, it's also to like experiment with what might be getting for peace, but we want to take all of it, every last little bit. Cyrenaican elites. You always sort of need to check your... Do you have enough characters in your empire? We got a lot of minor groups. I don't know that we want another major family wandering around. None of these are about ready to collapse, because sometimes they start getting awfully small. We got a lot of children here now this playthrough. A lot of unmarried women, which I'm not really worried about, but yeah. I think we will go with this, reduce our aggressive expansion by a bit there. Right, okay, so we've grabbed all this up. We can do food grade routes here. Good. We like that. We could use some wine. Yeah, bring it in from Carthage or somewhere in Carthaginian control. And let's see, we can also use some earthenware. All right, we'll bring it in from Macedonia. Think so, don't think so. And that province there, even though we're now complete, isn't very much. Okay, well, here, we're going to come here and you've been battered a lot. We're going to delete your fort. We don't need the fort. Okay. You guys march up to here. You guys march up to here. And you guys just head home. You're the mercenaries. We don't really care enough about you. You just head home. You guys get on board the... Okay. All right. I don't know about disbanding these levies. Further from home, if that's any sort of negative, I just don't know. I know these guys like to march home when they're levies. Not quite sure how the... Twisting the knife, okay. Ptolemy the Second and him. Right, probably. Oh, can I just want some dies? Sure thing. Okay, now that you're home, not you, we will disband you here. And, well, I'm just going to disband all these guys here. I don't know if there's a closer to home better kind of thing or something. I know it takes a while before you can raise a levy wherever you disband it. Re-raise it or raise it again or whatever you want to say. Okay, no, you don't get to come on our territory. Yes, you may have wood. And hemp, yes. Okay, so now we're a pretty big-ish empire here. We're working on royal capital. We are trying to save up our gold. Now, we want to increase our stability. We have a fair amount of money. Okay, if we do this, we're going to cost us 50 political power. It's 15, we're at a -3, so we're going to do this. Hopefully, along with other things, we will continue to increase our stability. maybe taking these guys in. However, is there like a progress bar? I know we're not canceling the annexation, but is there like a... don't know. They like us, they're loyal to us. We sort of kind of like them a bunch too. Let's take a look at our family here. Okay, he's too young to marry. Okay, he should probably get... no, we can't. We could. We could. He's a sort of incomer. Okay, well, maybe if we... what's his age? 36. Ooh, he's not healthy. But she is wise. Okay, looks like she's unmarried and has had 2 children. So, like, I don't know if you, well, don't like that. I don't know if you've watched it, but like I've said in the video, there's reasons I cheat with this game. And what I want to do here is marry these 2 off to have a few more, preferably not inheriting the royal family or the royal title, but just to keep sort of a base of languids to hold jobs kind of thing, instead of having to like bring in more people. 35 years old. Let's see. I think we'll go with my original sort of thought. So what I'm going to do is hit tilde, and then have this up here. Yeah, Mary, M-A-R-R-Y. And then, okay, just turn off for a moment. Like him. Turn that back on. Okay, 12,003. So basically, although this is cheating, and it is, it's not playing the game, if that's the most important, thing to you, winning the game, however you want to call it. The game was this one? No, she's a sickly, though. We may spend some money to try to get her healthy. It's this one here. Yes, lustful. She's somehow produced some children. Okay, click this again here, and that is 11,97,3, and bingo. This is the king, the pharaoh, the Basileus and pharaoh of Egypt, saying, "You two, you're getting married." Now, yeah, if you were to, well, random peasants, because obviously this is, slave world, but even, freemen or something, if the king is telling people to do it, they're going to do it. Okay. And not cause, unless it's huge numbers, not going to cause problems. But if you were doing it to other important family people, a lot of that kind of stuff, that would be sort of, I could see getting disloyalty and, problems. But we're talking sort of family, he's adopted into the family, that kind of thing. I don't think it would cause a lot of problems. So she has children, he doesn't yet. Hopefully that will produce us a few more languid, which again, I don't like the term, but a few more family members. I do particularly like to develop the places that we get. Okay, that's fairly well developed, but I don't need a level 3 fort there. Okay, these guys, unrest from the nobility, they're the most important in determining loyalty of the province. So we're going to give them an academy. Over here, this is going to be probably our biggest 12, 17, yeah, most populous city. They've got a port, obviously. Okay, a courthouse. Court of law. Okay, we don't need 32 negative just to get civilization. So we're going to take the tyranny hit and spend some political points. And go harsh treatment. Because we're way out here in the boonies. They don't like us terribly much yet, so we'll do that. And even with harsh treatment, we're getting a negative, pushing down. So we'll look here. Okay, citizens. Fairly numerous. We already have a court of law here. I will spend the money and time here to do a grand theater. That will help a lot with loyalty. We're here in this city, so yeah, I think we'll do that. Right, don't want to, we're gonna want money for upcoming things. Dies. So like I've said before, if I'm like giving information out, or I'm going, I'm not sure about like, if I'm, you know, demobilizing a levy closer to its home territory or not. If you like know the answer, and you know, if I'm not sure or I'm wrong, please post that kind of stuff below. And if you have questions, post it below, because yeah, it is troubling for me to try to dig up the answers, and maybe you could just Google it yourself. And that's quite true. But if they're good questions, then other people will probably have the same things, and it's a good excuse, good reason to make a short tutorial video. So yeah, I mean, if it's just some little tiny thing, well, that may be a bit bothersome, and I might try, might not, to answer it. But if it's particularly something that I think, yeah, that you should know that, and if I can find the answer out, need to develop some of these places here. Got that. This won't have a market. Yeah, it's a fairly large population. We'll put a tax even larger, but I have tax. Let's do that. Stop for a moment of shut down. It's spending more money. And now for a little while we're going to ease our aggressive aggression. Whatever. Yep, here. Okay, trade influx. Okay, so we can get some people here. Yeah. Where is Selenius? Okay. Okay, that is up Here, okay, right on the edge there. Cool. Okay, so currently there are 8 people here. Yeah, we could use... I think they're coming from outside, yes. So we could use a couple more people here. Okay, we're still losing, though. We're on sort of this trajectory. Let's add a market. I know I sort of stopped, but time has gone on a little bit. You can use a courthouse for loyalty there. That'll help this a little more. No pauses. Yeah. Trade, sure. And again, look, I'm thinking of that. Now we're at the bottom, let's work our way up. 2, 2, 1, 1, 1. Okay, good. We have a progress bar here going across, so we're a little more than halfway, it looks like, of becoming a metropolis. Trade winds. North Phoenicia. Do we want money or do we want more people in North Phoenicia, which is over here? Money's always nice. 33, 11. Let's have the influx. And yeah, I will. People are fairly happy here. So we're going to throw in a office to try to increase our income there. Okay, the 124th Olympiad. Okay, like I said, he's often had a good success rate, so I'm going to send Ptolemy the second, really. Okay, and yeah, just because I sent him off, it's doing this thing. No, I'm going to hold off on that, including replacing him. That's sort of the problem with sending him off. Don't think this is too much of a problem because again we're the ruling family. let's add a market and a market right here. Oh, barbarians. Okay, well, it's fairly close to home, and we have these guys, so hopefully they're... Of course, they may go towards the navy. No, no such luck. They're coming towards us. Okay. No. Okay, next time. No, you do not get to march all over our territory. And we can now actually increase our imports here. We want to do the second cloth to get the bonus. Prefer an import as opposed to an internal import. Wait from Judea here. I was looking here, I think we can use a tax office and this will fill it up, but before we get to there, we'll be able to do another one. So yeah, another tax office. Get that income coming in. Now can we put Ptolemy back? Not yet. Don't know how many days, weeks, months, whatever. I'm coming back, resting up, or just traveling, whatever, considering. Yes, I know, this isn't good. We're coming. We're marching. Okay, okay, let's hope, yeah, okay, guys. Sure. Macedonia may lose all this to Armenia. Wow, then we can go after Armenia, I guess. I'd like to get this region. I'd prefer not to have to fight Macedonia. Okay, crisis in Thrace. Yes, looks like we're going to put these guys down. Okay, march back to here. It's a good sort of spot for going different places. And we can also move the fleet to there. Come on, you should be back by now. There you are. He's not the best choice, 8 versus 12. Well, you know, let's look around for a province out here. Okay, you're good. You're getting old though. You're not that good. You are not corrupt, which is saving grace for you possibly. No corruption. Okay-ish. Out here, we probably don't want to waste somebody. Oh, we should change this guy. Okay, is he a member of the United family? This is where you stick the idiots down into here. Just try to keep them from totally wrecking the place. We've got 2 Leonited family members here. Oh, we can even dump Leonited because yeah, we'll see. 8 main ruler. He's a good military leader. We'll swap them out here for 8 versus 7, so it's a little better. There we go. So that is an improvement. Now we can have somebody out here who's even better here for civic advances. Get that done better, faster. Hopefully Ptolemy will prove. I wish we didn't have to constantly just keep our old job titles. Okay, our old job. I don't really want civilization out here. I want loyalty. Don't need the money so much. I want loyalty from my population. I sort of kind of get why harsh treatment, because that's like a -14 to a +12. Why harsh treatment may be... You get wagers. Tyranny, well, it's still pretty damn low. Spending all this political power, converting everything else. I'm really not trying to get lots of money out of these areas. Now, I would prefer something that didn't grind it down, but would have a proper growth. So we want to do buildings, try to get proper growth without harsh treatment. Like having a courthouse here, or a legal ability has increased. Very good. Okay. Now we can look here. There's available decisions. We could do the Pharos Lighthouse now. I want to do first Temple of the Muses, the library. 15,000 versus 12,000. But it needs greater stability, but we're almost there, so I'm hoping we can get that enough to start it. And here we go, royal capital. Okay, a noble and 2 citizens from Memphis and other places moved there. Okay. A little bit of history here. I know many viewers here like my history talks. And this is, I like to label this historical commentary because it's been years, and could be like 20 years or 30 years since either I read or I saw a documentary on something. So I am sure what I give here is, there's incorrect elements to it. So this is commentary on it. If you want more factual stuff, research, but this will give you a basis of it. Ptolemaic power, and to a point, though it shifts over time, but for the longest time, especially this early time here, Ptolemaic power was based on the Macedonian phalanx. Basically everything else is immaterial in warfare, or just secondary. It's the phalanx is what's important. And you just can't take any old people and dress them up as phalanx people and have them perform the same. I know I've talked about this. Okay. So this one thing in this game, and I'm jumping around, is I don't see, this doesn't seem to be, they don't seem to have the Gauls here. Because they were, maybe they don't show up until later, but this area is populated sort of internally by Gauls. And I'm not going to get into just what a Gaul is. And there's been different thoughts on it, whether it's, sort of a racial group or a cultural group, or a sort of a mix of things. But yeah, okay. So Egyptian power is based on the phalanx at first, and they start to, okay. And so to get more, they can't recruit more phalanx troops, Macedonian phalanx troops, if I need to specify that, in Egypt. The Seleucids can't recruit more phalanx troops in the Seleucid Empire. And while the Antigonids exist, they can't recruit Macedonian phalanx troops here. They're recruiting them out of here. All three of these powers I just mentioned are recruiting them out of Macedon. They're like, I don't even know. They may have literally had sort of like travel brochures. Come, bring your sarissa and your phalange, or however they say it, the small shield, to Seleucid. We'll give you silver, maybe even a little bit of gold and some land, and join our army. Recruiting posters. I really don't. I mean, there was definitely recruiters. They definitely sent recruiting parties back to Macedonia. And I'm not saying that they were all literally like Macedonia up here, but Greeks that are enculturated enough and are willing to fight and do it and call it. So all the these powers, and yes, in this game already the Antigonids do sort of can't stand for very long, are recruiting them out of there. Now, Egypt does set up things like this here, and let's click over to cultural. Why isn't this? This seems to be sort of weird. Okay, I don't know. We can see like Hellenic pop here. Religion. Macedonian pops here. They set up internally colonies. There is some intermarriage with local Egyptians, I know. I mean, not just, obviously there's some, but a significant number, but they're also trying to bring down Macedonian women to generate the next generation of phalanx troops. And to some degree, it's successful. So these sort of ideas of areas that are predominantly Macedonian and cities that are raised up, they can out of that, but that is a very limited source. It's not a very successful policy. It's a limited success. I don't want to, because I don't know the details of it out, but I don't want to make it to sound like it failed, but nor was it some, there weren't huge numbers of indigenous Macedonians that are, outnumbering the Egyptians and whatnot. And so sort of like this levy mechanism is actually very good here, to show that there was a lot of ideas that they were sort of in the army, but it's not like in the army every day. Sort of like you're expected to be in the army, but hey, you've got a farm, it's a big farm, you may actually presumably do some work on it. It's not like a cushy gig. Now you better be trained up because you're a warrior, you're a soldier. But presumably, most of the kind of ideas that you have some level of, and I don't know whether they be slaves, something more like a peasant, meaning they're sort of tied to the land, meaning, that you get a percentage, they work for you, but you can't, I don't know all of the details of how it goes, because prior to, go back far enough, Egypt really, I don't think has much coinage. I think it's the Ptolemies, no, it's either Alexander or the Ptolemies or something really introduced coins to Egypt and money. I don't really think Egypt ran on money. There's two societies, ancient Egypt, and this is pre-Ptolemaic Egypt, I don't think runs on coins and money. It runs on, it's sort of a priesthood running the thing. It's sort of like, you think of monasteries, what's the other term I'm looking for? But like in England and other places in which they own great tracts of land and manage it, and they have both priests that work on the land as well as like lay brothers that work on land in the monastic world in there. So, they own big tracts of land and are managing it. That's sort of what Egypt, in essence, sort of kind of is, in that it's sort of a pharaonic Egypt, particularly in the Ptolemies sort of take over that mantle. Sort of a state religion intermix, very much so. And so, your taxes are paid with goods, maybe services as well. I'm pretty sure also services, but definitely goods like wheat or output of pottery or whatever it might be. So it's to my understanding of, and again, correct me if I'm wrong here, non-monetary society. The other non-monetary society, for the longest time, and though I think by this time it has had money introduced, Sparta. They did not have money. And all the famous, 300 Spartans and whatnot, they didn't have money. They physically knew what money was, but there was no Spartan coinage. And if they got money, in wars or conquest, they might, melt it down to plate things with it, nice silver-plated armor or, gold-plated statue or something like that. But they specifically outlawed money. You could not have money. You own, there's sort of the state. It's a very, very totalitarian society. But they're basically a non-monetary system as well. Eventually it does get introduced into there, but probably by this time it is. But sort of the classical era, it's the non-monetary society. And they're constantly dealing with the Athenians and Thebans and others that have money and use money. So, and they're dealing with them, and they may be trading with them, but they're not using their own money, internally at least. And money is not a thing for them. So it sort of keeps their society from being corrupt, part of the idea of that. Okay, so yes, they're trying to do Macedonian colonies. And there is an attempt to do some of that in the Seleucid Empire, though I think it ends much sooner than it ends in Egypt. Egypt as a replacement slash supplement to the Macedonians, like to recruit in Celts or Gauls, or however you want to say it, from Galatia up in here, the Celtic warriors, and try to get them to, they try to both for and particularly during this period, this sort of date and before, I've sort of talked about it. The Macedonian soldier doesn't necessarily have a strong loyalty to a political leader, a Basileus, necessarily. Some individuals do, most assuredly. But to a Basileus, doesn't have a strong one, and often maybe to more of a sub commander, like, yeah, me and these 30 guys follow, I'm trying to think of a good Greek name, Zorba over there, and so yeah, Zorba's the boss, the cool dude. He's the leader of this little 30-man group. Oh, we're gonna go join the Ptolemies, great, and they, generally speaking, fight very hard for their ruler, while presumably while the ruler is running things fairly well, in battle and whatnot. But once they're lost, we're lost. Yeah, and if it's to another culturally appropriate Basileus type guy, yeah, we'll join up with you. Yeah, sure, yeah. You know how good we are. Yeah, we lost 10 of our 30 guys, of Zorba's group. But yeah, you saw how hard we fought for the last guy. We'll fight for you that hard, yeah. And the new guy, yeah, come on board, baby. And so there was a lot of that kind of stuff going around, very much because, again, you're coming out of, it wasn't one unified army as so much. And again, while Alexander is, way out here, they're still recruiting Macedonians to come to sort of do various occupation, as well as trying to get reinforcements. Alexander way out there. So there's always this sort of idea, and they all sort of have this sort of common, hey, we're, part of Alexander's army. And when that breaks up, yeah, some guys, yeah, I'm more cool, I like, or my Zorba guy, he likes Ptolemy better than Seleucid or whatever. So yeah, we're going with Ptolemy. But if Ptolemy collapses, we're out of here. And they need money because it varies at different times, but I don't think there's very much of an idea. Here's your state-issued helmet. Here's your state-issued shield. Here's your, so you need money to get your armor and your equipment. Now, your leader, your Basilius or whoever, is supposed to be supplying that in some way. Not necessarily state-issued, and there's definitely battle trophies, whatever. But you need to stay equipped, and then you need to be well fed and reasonably well housed. And you're pretty good, and you want some silver. Pocket money is definitely, can definitely go down into like, copper or whatever. But some silver, some decent money. So it's sort of a mercenary element. Well, a lot of these people are trying to get you away from being a mercenary element, and also trying to make it cheaper to keep you there than monthly or yearly or whatever. I think it is somewhat sort of yearly or quarterly they pay. And so it's like, hey, yeah, we'll kick some of these Egyptians who, maybe land that's owned by the priesthood, but hey, I'm the pharaoh now, so I'm in charge too. So as long as they don't totally, because they're still, and all to the end of the end of the Ptolemies. I presume into the Roman control era. There's huge amounts of tracts of land that support the priesthood, and these big pyramids have a whole temple funerary complex that people go in and say prayers. I'm not going to say how they say prayers in some of the kinds. This is a friendly YouTube kind of thing, and go look it up if you're interested. And so they got these priests that are doing praying for the pharaohs and society and whatnot. So yeah, there's these big things out here, and definitely I would presume at this time, eventually it loses its gold cap, and eventually somebody is plundering the nice white alabaster stone off the facings of these things. You see some of it a little bit, some of the top of some of them, to do other things with. But I think that's much later than this period that these start getting actually robbed, because they're still unlike the Valley of the Kings, which is wherever it is, I forget. This is, a priestly complex that people are living, working here all the time. It isn't like some forgotten thing out in the desert. It is sort of a bit outside of the city, but it's a constant sort of complex that they get their food, their wealth from owning or controlling, or however you want to say it, farmland. So that is definitely continuing under the Ptolemies. This whole system is still running under the Ptolemies, and the Ptolemies are taking advantage of it. But yeah, hey, kick them off of the land, no problem. And these guys won't kick too hard because, one, they sort of like the Ptolemies for various reasons. And they like Alexander because they get rid of the Persian domination, which is much harsher than Alexander's, which were Ptolemies. So they really sort of dig it. And so they're good with it. So you kick off some land, and so it's sort of like, instead of having to continue to pass out money, you get had been maybe mercenaries, if you will, to going, hey, yeah, it's not so much about who this guy is. It's now, oh, I've got this farm here. I've got 4 kids. I'm training them to be, they're going to, daddy's or uncle's or whoever's phalanx school to be good Greek, whether they're mixed. And they're not really necessarily hung up on genetics at this level, whether their, mother is Egyptian or something, but it's much more, go through whatever it is. And it's nothing as brutal, because there's almost nothing in the Greek world that I know of as brutal as Spartan upbringing. But, it's a harsh kind of thing that create warriors out of it. So yeah, bring that up to create the next generation of, phalanx kind of stuff. And hey, we've got it pretty good, so we're going to support the ruler here. And whether it's a local Egyptian uprising, which is part of the reason they want to do this, because that would probably mean an end to Greek colonies here, because they're very much the small minority. Or if it's, the Seleucids or the Romans or whoever it might be coming in, we're probably not going to have as sweet as deal. under the new regime. At the worst, we're all beheaded or something, or turned into slaves. At the best, we're diminished, whatever. We may still have some land, may still have some kind of thing, but we're no longer trusted from the elites. And somewhere in the middle would just get dispossessed from your holdings. So you want to fight for the regime that maintains this harder than you want to just give in. So the Ptolemies are trying to bring this loyalty. So yes, you should be able to raise some level of troops from, and sort of in this levy kind of manner, from some of these lands that would be truly not just heavy troops, but the Macedonian phalanx. This is a long time getting there. So when it says, oh, Alexander, a Macedonian guy from some other, from here moves to Alexandria, blah, blah, blah. That sort of rubbed me the wrong way. And that's what started this whole thing. Because beyond, I know how to, getting people who know to use sharp, pointy things, both swords and, trust me, they use the sword a lot too, because once you get in too close, that sarissa is broken and maybe used as, and it did have a secondary spike on the other end. Sometimes used on friendly people to just kill them, so their guts are ripped out all over the places, and they're dying. They're going to die in 5 minutes or an hour or whatever, and so somebody just got the back of the head kind of thing, you just kill them. Because there's, it's not like, oh, some of the wounded might survive. They want to take care of their buddies, but they want to take care of their buddies, so they kill them if it's just like too gory of a thing, and you're going to put them out. So put them out of their misery if it's just too bad of a wound that's hit them. But also, if it gets broken, you can flip it around and use the other sort of end that's not quite as good a spear end, but still sort of works. But then you definitely also knew how to use the sword too, because that's also an important element within them. So it's not just recruiting those, it's recruiting various, whether it's intellectuals or others from Greece, artists, or just basic functionary type peoples. They're trying to draw all these people into Alexandria. And so Alexandria is a Greek city-state inside of Egypt. It is really not part of Egypt, and the Ptolemies, as well as the sort of the Egyptian priest class, recognize this and accept this. This is sort of, I don't know exactly how that would have been recognized, but these other places are definitely like, yeah, Greek colonies inside of Egypt. This is geographically in Egypt, but is sort of politically, culturally outside of Egypt, and really sort of this area is too, and it's a little bit larger than just literally the city of Alexandria, but it's sort of this kind of thing. And so getting elites to come here at various times, they as much or more were coming from places up here for various reasons. Some it's like, hey man, once you get the library at Alexandria built, hey man, I want to go study there, or I want to, it's the place to be. Others, it's like, oh hey, there's another war between, some city-states. Shit. The next time they have the war there, they might come and burn my house. Well, there hasn't been any siege in Alexandria for, let's see, 200 years. Okay, there's sometimes some riots and whatnot locally, and yeah, and there's little things, but it's not maybe quite as bad. And actually, from some of the reading, although there was military campaigns going on, during the time of the Diadochi and the successor regimes, there was actually, for a lot of the citizens, more peace. So it's sort of like in this game is, oh yeah, they raised the levies. They're off all fighting over here. But most of the citizens, now Egypt being a unified system is different, but if you look like here, these guys are all getting ready and fighting each other every 20, 30 years, and it's at your home, where once, I hope once we take this over here, there'll be no more invasions. Now I may raise troops and, send them off places, and I may be battling other places, but hopefully no more fighting in Crete or in Cyprus, or where, there'll be fighting around. Wars will still happen, but these sort of larger Greek kingdoms, as opposed to the smaller city-states, sort of bring out more peaceful eras. And that's some of the kind of way to proceed with Alexandria. So whether in the game terms you want to magically appear the pop from somewhere, or which is probably the best way to do it, because things are not zero-sum games. I know, people don't magically appear, but you know what I mean. It's not quite this. Or it should be maybe pulling off, something from Athens, from some other Macedonia, and so that, but however in game terms. So that would be a more historically correct. I mean, it may sound weird to have pop appear out of nowhere, but in a way, it would be more historically correct to do so. Well, I know this episode's gone on long enough. I hope that was an interesting talk. Tell me below if I'm doing too much of that. A bunch of viewers like it, but I don't want to do too much of it. So, thanks everyone. I really do appreciate those who make it to the end. See you next time for more, yes, even more historical gaming.